You
Oh,
don't need the beast
right.
to show up and help you
You
with your
want the
technical
beast to
issues.
show up and hurt me? No, this is good.
No,
We're
not
good.
hurt you, help you with your technical
Oh, help me with
instincts.
my technical issues? No, we're good. We're alive. We're
Yeah,
all
I don't
good.
know why I want the beast to hurt you. That'd just be weird.
All right. So, Days of the Days of Future Past. I keep wanting to call it Days of the Future Past, but there's no the. It's just Days of Future Past.
Well, I will let you call it what you want because
Oh,
we're all here for the same movie. So apparently you can call it whatever
I
you
can say
want.
whatever I want.
Yeah, you want to say you can call it whatever you want because I'm gonna let you go. I mean, we know what you're talking about.
So,
We're
I
all
have
in
a
the same chat room here.
yeah. So I have a question for you. So
Okay,
I actually went back to read the two
is this not the
issues.
question?
No. I need to build up. I actually went back to read the two issues of
Oh,
Days of Future Past back in. I don't know
you're
what.
doing better than I did because I
So
never read it.
okay, so I don't know what year this came out, but it's early '80s. Okay, so when I
Yeah,
read
because
this,
doesn't the story takes place in '84,
I think it's in '84
so it's probably '84 then.
because they talk about the 1984 the book in the series, right?
Okay,
But these two issues stands out specifically to me because it doesn't seem like it's a continuation from the last issue. Do you know what I mean? It's like once this issue hits, right? They're immediately in the future. They just talk about the Sentinels and like it's Senator Kelly that's the one that got shot instead of trash, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Which
so
we've
I
seen Senator Kelly in the first X-Men
right
movie.
first X-Men's movie. So it brought me to this question. It got me thinking like so now I'm thinking like, hey, would it be okay for you, right? Like your opinion, if
Okay,
comic book movies doesn't connect but they have the same actors playing the heroes and villains. Like, let's just say
okay.
Days of Future Past. We didn't have the first, like, we had the first three X-Men's and then we had the first class, right? Let's just say the story time doesn't match, like, they don't continue in any way. Would you have a problem with that? Like, these movies just
Well,
take
to
sections.
answer to ask well, to answer your question, I mean, I guess I'm not really understanding the question
Okay,
fully.
okay. Because the way that I read the comic book, right,
Okay,
is like there's only two issues. The first issue doesn't have anything to do like a
okay,
continuation
okay.
from the
Well,
previous stuff.
let me say something real quick, and then we can see if we're on the same page.
Okay.
So you're asking me, if, let's say I watch a bunch of X-Men movies, and then I go and see the next X-Men movie in line, and it has nothing to do with the previous
Yes.
X-Men movie.
None of the
Would I have
previous
a
X-Men.
problem? Well, isn't that the way Fox has always been working anyway? So I guess I wouldn't.
Well, I
And the
wouldn't
same
say
thing with
that.
all the Batman movies. So,
No,
or
but with the same actors.
okay, so I watched three X-Men movies, and then the next X-Men movie was a whole different story, but same actors playing the
Yeah,
same
like it
characters.
doesn't have to like it doesn't have nothing to do with each other.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have a. It depends on the story I'm getting.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the story they give me. Okay,
Okay.
because in a way, like I said, we've already had several X-Men movies, and some of them didn't seem to connect anyways, and they had the same actors. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, but then you know they
but
talk
see, but
about
they're not intentionally.
it's not
They weren't.
intentionally, but like
This one
it
it was
still connects
intentional.
it. Oh,
But the
I
problem
know.
is, but how is this not? I mean, I don't understand how you're saying this because if it was like in the future, let's say I was watching X-Men movies, and all of a sudden the next story is them in the future,
Hmm.
then I'm not gonna really have a problem with it because apparently the future's setting up the story they're trying to tell for them.
Well, I thought this one
Is
did
that
a
what you're
good
getting
job.
at? Is that what you're getting at?
It is not really, because I'm trying to think like, but then you brought up the point of like, you wouldn't know until you see what it is though. So I'm thinking,
Yeah,
because this was really good. Like this X
because I
Men
don't
Day of
know.
Future Past,
Yeah, I
they
don't
set
see
up
how
first
you.
class so they
Yeah,
can connect everybody. So I thought
yeah,
when you said Fox did that, right? I'm like, well, this is the first attempt that Fox did with First Class and Days of Future Past that did a really good job of connecting the first three X-Men with the
yeah,
characters created along with the new ones from First Class and they mashed it all together. I mean,
yeah.
I didn't even think about that at the time, but I'm thinking about it
Well,
now.
because it's not really a separate story. Because basically they got two unit. They just did too many movies. They made two universes, like DC or like Infinite Worlds or stuff. They try to fix it. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically you had the original universe that we saw all the way through X-Men one, two, three.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they must say by the story though, you can't put Wolverine and Wolverine's origin story in here.
The origins kind of like before, so the origins have nothing to do with
I
this
know it
kind of
should
X
have.
Men, I guess.
They
Yeah.
should have kept it in here. If they would have had William Stryker play the same character and he would have known Wolverine
Oh,
from Vietnam, automatically would have all linked. And now I have a problem with that. I wish they would have done that in this movie.
actually, I have a problem with this timeline too. Actually, from this movie.
I don't have a huge problem with the timeline, but that was one of the deals. I'm like, why didn't y'all do that? Because now you have three timelines. You have Wolverine origin story stands alone, the first three X-Men. and then you got that. So if you'll just throw Origin to the side, you got your first X Men, and they can make it all the way to the time because it's supposed to be year 2023,
Right.
which is convenient for us since we're 2024, so this just happened. But anyways, like I said, with the way their story went, it would have made some sense because I mean, the world would have saw mutants are a bad deal.
Okay.
And even me, after watching this movie, I'm thinking from reading comics, I always thought, oh, this is a good comic series. But watching the movies, I was like, yeah, mutants would be a bad deal for all of us. And then the opposite deal, I also think Professor Xavier's thinking is a bad thing way of thinking.
Yeah.
But anyways, we can talk about that later on in the movie
Yeah.
as we talk along. But anyways, like I said, though, it just combines them two because they said Wolverine back in the past. In the past, he goes back to is now the movie we just recently saw, First Class.
Yeah. But 10, it's I guess in the 70s, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, 70s. Yeah.
yeah. Which both universes probably should have been the same, but you already tell that they're not the same because nothing worked. Nothing went along the same track.
So,
So
wait,
technically, they didn't send him back along his own time deal. They sent him back into somebody else's time.
so that's interesting. So I'm already confused with someone else's time and him. It's supposed to be him, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, so in the 70s, at the end of the Vietnam War, he was here, but it feels like didn't Stryker get him from the Vietnam War and they were doing the X-Men
Yeah, but like I
origin
said,
stuff?
that's
Yep.
why you got to
You
throw
gotta toss it
Origin to the
aside.
side. You got to throw Origin aside. The thing is, there's still some problems with the first two movies too.
First two movies, that's in
The first
X-Men
three
1 and
movies.
2.
So
Okay.
let's put it. We're gonna follow the first three movies,
The
X-Men
original.
Series One, yeah, the
X-Men
original,
Series 1, okay.
and then another one we'll just call it Series Two, the First Class.
Okay.
Their First Class universe is still not the same as
That's the original universe.
original universe because of
Yep.
the way they live. Because he
I
doesn't
highly
really know
agree.
because he doesn't really seem to know Mystique. Magneto seems to be a different person, but they try to merge it together like it was all Wolverine. This is the same Wolverine, but I'm like, there's no way this is the same Wolverine. And if he was to go back through the stream of time and he brings all the stuff back that all happened, it just doesn't mismatch. I'll let it mismatch because I like the movie. I like
Mhm.
First Class enough to get the first, and plus I like the first last. I like the last two X-Men. And Origin, since we watched it again, I like Wolverine Origin. I wish it would have matched in there because I thought the only problem I had with Wolverine Origin was the ending of it.
Okay. You know what? Now that the way that you explain it, right? Now you make my first question and answer make sense. This is like a movie that had nothing to do with the
It
other
doesn't.
X-Men.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. It really doesn't. They try to make it. They try to integrate it, but it doesn't. It really doesn't.
So at the same time, you do and not have a problem at the same time, as long as you toss some movie aside that have
Yeah,
like
let's put it this way:
make that your own decision.
The X-Men fan in me lets it get slide.
Because this one
If
was
I
so good.
if I wasn't an X-Men fan, I would have even a bigger problem. I would
Do you,
have the same problem with it that I had with the
hey,
first X-Men
did you
movie.
know what I noticed? It feels like Matthew Vaughn and Bryan Singer worked on this together because Bryan Singer wrote the story of the First Class, right? But this movie was written by Matthew Vaughn.
Well, he got credit for it.
Oh, you got what? But then you still wrote it, right?
Well, it's not he didn't write what we saw.
No, but yeah,
He
he got
wrote
credit for it.
parts that they kept
Oh yeah.
in it.
So let me
That's
tell
the
you something.
problem. So to me, that is not the same.
I feel like Singer and I don't know if Singer and Vaughn wrote, maybe played with the comic and thought like, oh, this is really cool. So they have all this time since their childhood to think about this, right? And then when I was reading, I just read it recently, just a couple of
Yeah.
days ago, and I was like, man, if I was read this when I was a kid, I would have loved this because this is the time I would watch Back to the Future, which this makes me think of Back to
Yeah.
the Future, but
Well, I would have
more like Terminator 2. This is like the Terminator 2 of X-Men movies. Because they had to go
Okay.
back to stop an event from happening.
Okay. Well,
Well,
yeah. Well, but
more
that's
specifically
but
Back to the
that's
Future 2.
but that's usually most
Back
most
to
yeah
time travel
almost
films,
all
yeah.
time travel movies is always to go back to event to quit to stop an event. Which though to me, if you go by the way time travel should really work,
Okay, that's no such thing, but go ahead.
but
Time
no,
travel really works.
no, we're not going to do that because time travel
Okay.
really does work. You just can only go forward.
I just go forward. How about
So
backwards
you
thing?
so you basically in time travel you're going to have to deal with stuff that's already happened.
Okay.
But if you're to go back in time, you're automatically, like I said, it's going to cause another alternate reality. So you're never going to fix the reality you just came from.
Yeah.
You will never, if time travel's real
So
or
this
fake.
movie should bother you.
This movie does bother me to a point, but I'm okay with alternate. He made alternate reality
I guess, yeah.
because he traveled back up the stream.
Oh, he made the
Yeah,
alternate
he
reality.
traveled up the stream. The problem is Kitty Pryde. I'm gonna go ahead and say that she just told everybody, "Oh, we won't ever remember this," because they won't, but they do. See what I'm saying? On the
Yeah.
time stream he left, they all perished. They're all dead.
So it is like Back to the Future. He's the only one that knows. He's the one that traveled through time. So
Yes, because he stayed in the stream. He
yeah,
didn't jump.
Logan
They
is
make
the
it.
one like
They said
Marty.
his consciousness jumped forward, but even if he had a consciousness out there,
Yeah, he's
it's
still
in
Logan.
another time. It's in another timeline now. So it jumped back. It jumped forward, and he missed most of his life.
So I wrote this down. Past and present will continue to coexist. Did you like that? Because what's strange is like whatever he's in the
Well,
past, right? It's still
if here's the thing,
he
if it
haven't changed
coexists,
anything.
it coexists because it's an alternate timeline. So that means that means if past and the future and the past coexist, right? That's what she says. Then it means it's an alternate timeline.
Wow.
He's running along with it. It's parallel
It's
now.
parallel to that the same
And the
time, the
thing
past
is,
and the future. Yeah.
that means that when he fixes everything, this timeline never ended.
Oh,
That
you
means
mean the
Professor
past
X
time?
that yeah, the future never ended.
Oh, that future never ended. Yeah.
That future never ended. It ended for the people that got killed by the Sentinels, and the Sentinels now own the world. But the thing is, Wolverine just created when he went back in time. It just created another universe where they're everybody's good and happy, and Wolverine is the only survivor of that other universe, or his
Oh
consciousness
my
is.
goodness. We have to throw alternate universes. I mean, like alternate
Oh,
timeline into this.
it all automatically, anytime you time travel, it automatically makes an alternate time.
But we don't even know how time travel works. We all go about this before. We want to
God,
think. No, no,
we
no. Wait, wait, wait,
do.
wait. We want to think that's how it works. That's what
Let
I'm
me put it
saying.
this way. Let me put it to you this way. When Bryan Singer was making this movie, he decided he's going to go talk
What's your
uh, the maker of Terminator, uh,
name? Jake, you talking
Cameron.
about Cameron?
Yeah, he went to talk to Cameron about time travel because he decided Cameron is an expert on time travel.
Are you saying?
Cameron's only
Are you?
the Cameron.
Hold on. Are you being sarcastic, or is this
No,
what's
I'm
really
not
happening?
being sarcastic. I'm telling you the
Oh,
truth. He honestly did. He went to him like he is the guru on time travel. I'm like, yeah, I mean, Cameron's made a lot of time travel movies.
well, besides Terminator. Oh,
I say that is sarcastic right there.
oh, okay. Like, yeah, like.
Yeah, so he is the expert.
Well, I could say like maybe they were just trying to keep it simple. Does that make sense? Like, hey,
Yeah, but they didn't keep it simple.
I thought that's pretty simple because
No, it
you
was
make
simple,
it
but I mean, like I said,
complicated by
I
saying
didn't
like
make it
the
complicated. Like you said it.
alternate
If they said
timeline.
it, if she said that they're running, that's parallel universe
Nope,
now.
they erased the other timeline from this. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
No, it does, but you can't erase it.
you don't know that.
How could you? Yes, I
You
do.
don't
How
know.
could
No,
you
you
erase
can't.
it?
You can't
I'm
firmly say
yes.
you can't.
Oh,
No,
yes, you can. I bet you could.
because no
I
one
bet you
know how
can.
time travel works with the backwards
I
and
bet you if
forwards.
we're to talk, I bet you if we're to talk to astrophysicists or any physicist or anybody like that,
But that's just
theorists,
theory, though, right? But that's just in
it,
theory.
but everything's theory, and most theory comes true. Black holes are theory.
Yeah, until we figure it out. But right now, we haven't figured that out. We
So
haven't figured
yeah,
out time travel. Like, it's
we
so
haven't
hard
figured
to
out time,
say.
but we actually know how time travel works.
I guess you could say like this is how. Well, this is how it mostly
Why
likely
would
would
it?
work.
Let me ask you this: why would everything just disappear? Where in the universe does anything just stop working and disappear?
We don't know. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
You don't
saying.
know it. Like you can't even prove that it still
But
exists though.
you could prove it exists easier than you can prove it won't.
Actually, I wouldn't say that because we couldn't even prove that it
I know
exists.
you won't. I will.
Yeah, see.
Yes, you're gonna have another. You're gonna have another parallel if you go back. Think about it. Think about it really hard. If you go back to a
No, we
time that
talked
you've
about
never
this
been
before.
to, yes, you're starting another deal. You can't. You have to start
You're
another
saying
thing.
that I going back to a time that I never been to. Technically, I have been there.
No, that's what I'm saying. All right. Let's say I want to send you back 5 minutes from now.
All right.
Do you remember ever being there 5 minutes from now?
Do I ever remember being there 5 minutes from now? Are you talking to my present self or my past self?
I'm talking to you, present.
Have I remember being there? Yeah, of course, because I was there 5 minutes ago, but you
Okay.
just sent me back.
Okay. All right. You're the one who makes it hard.
I don't think so, because you
All
said you
right.
sent me back 5 minutes. Of course, I will
So
remember.
did you get that package that I sent you a year ago?
Did I get the package you sent me a year
Yeah, I
ago?
sent you a package a year ago. I sent you a flux capacitor a year ago.
You didn't send
So
me a
you
flux capacitor. I don't understand where you're trying to go.
exactly.
But
But
then you
if I
didn't
was
send
to
it to me.
send, but see, so that's the thing, because you're not in the parallel universe that I sent it to.
What you just said doesn't make any sense to me.
It does make perfect sense. Let's say I was to send you something a year ago. Like right now, I'm going to send something to you a year ago. Right now, I
Okay.
was sending something a year ago. You're not going to all of a sudden. It's not going to all of a sudden pop up in your house.
It's already been in my house since a year ago, though. Like, if you sent me something a year ago, I had that
Yeah,
since for a year.
look around your house. Do you see a flux capacitor that
Yeah.
I sent you? That I sent you.
Well, hold on. I don't understand what you're trying to get at. You said you sent me a fuck. Like, what? Did you send it or not? Like, I don't
Let's
understand what
say
you're trying to
let's
get
say
to.
I sent you a flux capacitor. Now I didn't do it a year ago. I did it now, but I sent it to you a year ago. From now,
You lost me.
right?
No.
If I was to send you something,
A year ago, right? Then I would
no,
have gotten a year ago.
yeah. But if you don't get a year ago, it's because the parallel universe of you got it a year ago.
What? You're not explaining this clearly. I'm completely lost.
I feel like I'm pretty clear.
No,
If
you just
I was
asked me.
this okay, if I was to go get my time machine, no, if I was to
Well,
send
hold
something
on.
to a time machine to you a year ago, okay, I'm not gonna explain it clearly.
No,
I'm gonna have to write. I'm gonna have to make a whole video just to
because I'm
explain
thinking
this.
about like you actually sent me a package, but
I
not like.
didn't really send you a package. All right, let's say I was to send you a year ago back to yourself. Right now, I take you right
With
now,
a
and I
time
send you
machine. I
back a
think you're
year ago.
losing that bit of information.
Okay, in a time machine, I'm gonna have to send you back to it in the time machine. Okay. All right, I send you back to talk to yourself a year ago.
This is really complicated.
I guess I don't understand how it's okay.
This is really
Okay.
complicated. Because you
Let's
used a
say
package, and I thought you like regular
okay.
USPS mail.
I didn't send you nothing. Nobody lost anything in the mail, so don't call nobody.
Uh, I'm like,
I don't
what?
I don't have nothing. Okay. I am. I'm too confusing. All right, let's do this. Let's say I take you and I need you to go back and talk to me or talk to yourself a year ago and say that you're going to be a millionaire. I
All
need you to
right.
go talk to yourself a year ago, right now, from this point a year ago. The you right now should already know that you talked to yourself a year
Oh,
ago.
okay. I got you. Wait, I got you now.
Did you talk to yourself a year ago telling yourself you're going to be a millionaire?
This is a hard example because it didn't really happen. So I see what you're trying to explain,
The
but
thing
then in
is, you will
reality, it
never,
would.
your
But
time,
you're
you
saying
can't
that you
get
would never, but I don't know. I know what you're trying to get at.
okay, just to move
I'm
on
being a
because you're
hard
gonna
ass.
you're
I'm being
you
a
are
hard
you're
ass on
always
you on purpose.
you're
Yeah.
always going to be this way. So you're always going to go, oh, I don't know.
But you
I'm not
but
even trying to consider it.
but you're
See,
trying
that's
to
the
say
problem.
that I
No,
wouldn't know
here's the
or I
problem.
wouldn't
But you
remember
won't even try to consider it. That's the problem with you. You won't even try to consider it.
because you can't. I'm saying I can't.
How can you not? Do you won't even think about it for me?
Okay, so let me think about this. So, okay, hold on. Let's talk this out. Your example is that if you send me back a year ago to talk to myself that I'm going to be a millionaire, the current me right now should already know, like, oh yeah, I talked to you last year, or I talked to
Yep,
myself or last year.
exactly.
But then the hard thing to prove that right or wrong is it's impossible to see my memory because there's no way anybody be able to do that. That's why I said you don't. I don't know
How do
because
we
like
know? But what the thing is,
that's the thing.
though,
Yeah, how would
but
we
here's the
know?
thing. Here's the thing, though. Let's say time travel is real. You will never know because if you're using alternate realities, it will never come into
Oh,
your
okay,
plane
yeah, I see.
existence.
You're using alternate realities. I understand that if you use the alternate realities, right, like alternate timelines, let's not say reality, alternate
Yeah,
timeline, then the current me would not know.
you will never
But if
know
we go to
because
the, I
it
guess
alters the timeline.
if you only use Back to the Future 2 logic, I want to say, I don't know. Let's just say you don't use the alternate timeline reality thing, then I would know.
Okay.
That's not how time travel works. Yeah,
Now, I don't know what you just said.
because no, because what you're saying is that you believe in alternate timelines. That's what you believe in.
Well, you're going to have alternate timelines.
That's what you believe in. That's what I'm saying. I'm open to that thought. I'm open to the other
Okay.
thoughts as well. Where like, okay, there's equations for alternate timelines. There's also maybe just one equation for a steady timeline. Like there's no other alternatives. Like you can only go back and forth your own timeline. So whatever you done into the past, you go back to that future, you already change it. I'm talking about that kind, like the
But
ripple effect.
wouldn't alternating your timeline automatically beat an alternate timeline?
It's alternate, but it's changed from that same one. Like
So
that
it's
the
an alternate
original one that
timeline.
you came from doesn't exist anymore.
So all the people that just all of a sudden just disappeared.
They wouldn't know. They don't disappear. They just change whatever roles they were.
Well, what about the people that were never born
Isn't
though?
this what this X-Men was? They never disappeared. They just changed the roles from that time. I guess 2023, right? You said.
Well, they had to disappear. They all disappeared. They all became something else.
So in your terms, you should hate this movie because they didn't follow your set of guidelines of time travel rules.
If I stick to the way you're thinking, yes, I will hate this movie very much.
No, the way that you're thinking, they didn't create any
No,
alternate timelines though.
the way I'm thinking, they did create alternate timelines.
Oh, see, the way that I watched this movie, they didn't create any alternate timelines. They just changed the one that they were on.
Okay, they had
But you said that
yeah.
the future never ended on that one.
Well, but she said that they run parallel, so that means they're alternate times already.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I didn't even think about
Even
that
by the
being.
characters' own admission in this movie, they set up their fictional way time works in their world. It's like it's like the MCU. They set it up how time works in their world, and they've already changed it several
Did
times.
you think when they were writing this movie with this time travel stuff, they thought about it this much? They're like, hey, just forget it. Just
Well,
wrote it this way, and then this is the way it's gonna work.
apparently when he went to go talk to old James Cameron, they must have just had a bunch of beers and just forgot all about it.
And this
James,
is
James, they probably had the exact same conversation me and you said
they
we
probably.
just had. And of course, you're speaking on James Cameron level. It's like just let it go, dude. Just write
Just let
this
it go.
out. It's
Just let it
good.
go because people, there are a lot. I want to say a lot of a majority of the people, right, is not going to talk about how in depth time travel was like you and I are just did right here. They
Yeah,
just be like, oh, they
and then of
just we went
course,
back and then come back.
and then years later when they're sitting there and the director's looking at this movie again, he's going,
I
"I
got
was
it.
right. James Cameron is wrong."
I got it. This is
Okay.
the hot tub time travel time machine movie logic right here. Because they never talk about alternate timeline, just go back and forth on one. It's kind of like Back to the
Well,
Future.
that's Back to the Future
Yeah,
timeline.
Back to the Future timeline.
Then they decided by the second movie they were wrong, even though they did it wrong in the first half of the second movie.
I'm like, this is too much.
I don't understand.
Okay, there's a couple of questions I want to answer since
Okay.
I've been not
Okay.
time travel related. Hold on, I'm just
Okay.
so one of the things, right?
What's my favorite mutant? I don't
No, no,
know.
no. So Raven can change her appearances, like
Yeah.
even with the clothing and stuff. So
She
I thought,
basically almost becomes that person.
so she could become that person, but she can also make fabric out of nothing
Yeah,
because she
out of
was naked, right?
ourselves.
So let me ask you this question. I just want to see what you think because I had a stupid thought to the like, hey, so Raven like turned into a businessman, right? And that
Yeah.
so does that mean she can never take those clothes off? Like when she exchange like when
I
she
would say I would say she probably can't.
so she can't take that shirt off. So every time we morph back, she had to put the shirt
Yeah.
back on. Otherwise, where would it go?
Unless she picked up an item off the ground.
Oh, okay.
Like if she had took off sunglasses, she probably picked those
I
sunglasses
wonder if
up.
anybody could explain that to me. Not you, but like I thought about that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
she's always naked, right? Which is weird because in the comic book, she's always wearing that black and
Well,
white
here's the
uniform.
funny thing about that, I think.
Okay.
Because the people try to put logic that made the movie, they're like, well, it wouldn't the clothes come off? They're thinking, well, if she has to be naked, if she's gonna turn to different people, you know, that shows that that'd be like a dress in the way or something. But I'm thinking, well, if you use comic logic, that dress that she's wearing is
It's
actually part of her own skin too. It's not a dress. She's just covering her up to make everybody comfortable.
oh, so she cannot take it off from what you said then.
I would think she cannot. The whole costume that she's
It's
wearing,
part of her.
she probably created to make people feel comfortable and to
That
show off her
sounds the best.
personality.
That sounds the best.
Because it's like, I mean, come on, because you're in the world. Why would you be walking around naked everywhere? Because she's probably thinking, well, look, I'm with all these people that are wearing clothing. And I mean, modesty is part of even if you're a mutant, you probably have problems with modesty.
Huh,
I
okay.
mean, plus everybody's gonna be sitting there staring. She already knows that men are men, whether you're blue or
Yeah.
or what. They're gonna be like, huh, she's sitting there naked. I mean, and people are gonna be gawking at her. So she's probably thinking, "Huh, I'll just make a costume."
Okay, because I was thinking like if no, what you said like it's part of her skin, the
And it
outfit
has to
brings
be
her.
because
Yeah,
in the comic books, like she has those little skull belt. I'm sure it just
yeah,
it's
she has
more.
a uniform on a lot in
Yeah,
Mystique.
and
Like,
I'm sure it just morphs into whatever. And she's probably really
oh, you know
truly
what?
when you're
Yeah,
looking at her, she's probably truly naked. It just looks like she has
so
clothing.
clothes on. Yeah, so you just can tell because she's a
Yeah,
master of disguise.
she can make anything she
Okay,
wants.
the second thing I want to talk about: do they have to do hand gestures when they do their powers? Like Professor X, right? We've seen from the original X-Men that he could just sit in his chair and he could control stuff. But
Yeah.
in the James McAvoy, he has to do this with his hand, like that triangle half spot piece. You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm doing it
Yeah.
right now. Like this thing. Like, does he
Mm.
have to do that? Even Magneto, does he have to do the hand gesture thing? Or like he's probably just controlling thing because that's his
Well, I
body.
think I think there's some I think there are some scenes where they don't do their hand
Yeah,
gestures
they
and
don't
they
hear
do
the
the
hand
time.
gesture, yeah.
But I think they just add dramatic to make it
For
more
dramatic.
dramatic.
Yeah, okay.
You
So you
know,
could tell that he's doing something.
as
Okay.
long as they're not going pew, making a gun deal, going pew pew. I guess that'd be okay, huh?
Because I was thinking if I have a mutant, like I would never do
But
hand
but in
gestures.
the comic books, they only knew they're doing their powers, and it's not hand gestures. It's because they
Oh, it's
draw it
they
on
draw the
there.
lines, yeah.
They draw or something, and they do
Yeah.
something. I mean, because you know when Peter Parker's using his spider senses, they cut his face in half and make it spider
Oh
web,
yeah,
and his
Spider.
face
Yeah,
or the mask is on it. Either has little squirrely lines or something. Everybody has something.
yeah, but
So it's just to make it more dramatic, I'm
just dramatic
sure,
with the
because
hand gestures. Okay, that's
because
what I thought
because
too.
it's like when we making fun of like movies where they're in space, we go, oh, there's no sound, so they have no sound. But on Star Trek 2, when the Enterprise flies up next to the space station, it makes a noise. They said, well, we know there's no noise, so we had it on screen. There's no noise. They says it was so boring and dull, and then they added noise, and it's like, wow, it really adds to the scene.
Yeah, I
So
do, yeah,
you gotta do what makes it good for screen.
yeah, for screen for entertainment purposes. Yes.
Yeah. Because I mean, of course, Professor Xavier could just sit there all day just smiling at you, and he could make you walk around like a puppet without ever
Yep.
touching his
That's why I
face.
said if I have that kind of power, I'm not gonna do it.
But
Hand
it does look
gestures.
good because even when you're watching, what was that? Black Widow. Remember Black Widow, the movie Black Widow, where she meets her sister,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, you're a poser. You do all those poses and all
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff."
yeah, yeah.
Well, the thing is, if you don't do the poses, I mean, when they do the
It's
poses, it
boring.
does
Yeah.
look cool. It
Yeah, that's
looks
so
cool.
cool.
When they
Yeah.
don't do yeah, if they try to do that world stuff, real world stuff, which we've seen superhero
Ah,
movies where they don't do all that
you're right.
stuff, it's not that good.
You're
You
right.
go
So let
back,
me explain
you're going
something.
to end up with the first Punisher is what you're going to end up
No,
with.
yeah. Well, I don't remember the first Punisher that well, but
Well,
Jackie Chan
nobody
was
wants to.
Jackie Chan had a special, right? Like how he makes movies and stuff, and he did say
Yeah.
like the formal stance of kung fu, right? It's very boring. So they
Yeah.
do like an extra, like they stick out their arms like this in a certain way because if you do it proper, right, it's like it's not that good to look at. So they do like
Yeah.
a style to where like the
Yeah, they make a
posing to
show. And
make
of
it
course
look good. Yep.
everybody thinks they know kung fu try to do that stuff, which somebody can really fight. It's looking at you like you're
Why
about
are
to
you
get
doing all
whooped.
that? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you're
why are you doing
about to
that?
whoop the crap out of you. You're gonna look good getting beat.
Yep, that is true.
I mean,
Okay.
it's for the movie. I mean, you gotta emphasize.
Did you
I
watch
mean,
those YouTube videos I sent you? Like trying just kind of like a summary
how
of
many
what the
did you
comic
send
book
me?
is.
I only
I
saw
only sent you
one.
two, but no. Oh yeah,
I must have
that one
missed
is good.
some. I
No,
must have
that
missed
one is
one.
good. That 7 minute one was pretty good.
Yeah, I saw
Basically,
that
what
one.
I read is just that summary of that. It's like it's mostly Kitty in the thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
which the main character in this one was mainly Mystique.
Yeah. So how
I
did
mean,
you like
they
that? I was
had.
gonna
I was
point
fine
that
with
out.
that.
Where like no.
I
I
mean,
mean, I was fine with that too. Where Wolverine's character is not the main character of this movie.
no,
I
he's
think
just
that made it a lot better.
yeah. Because a matter of fact, he's just kind of there as a
Support.
witness. Yeah, support. Because there's several scenes where he just kind of
Is Mystique and
disappears.
also Professor X Fairy. They
Yeah.
show a lot more
Actually,
Professor X.
I think there's actually more. Yeah, it's mainly the relationship between Professor Xavier
Yes, and
and
Mystique.
Mystique. They're trying to fix a lot of things
Yep.
because they got a big giant story arc from the other movie.
And you know,
Plus,
I want to
Magneto's there, but
still wait, hold on.
Magneto,
Before we move on to Magneto, I do want to say because you mentioned earlier the timeline, like Professor X and Mystique supposed to know each other really well, but in the first original, they never actually encounter each other where they could
Not
interact
really.
in that way.
And,
Yeah.
and and for all we know, they could have. You could actually watch the movie and go, yeah, they probably know each other. They just don't want to talk to each other.
Yep.
But I mean, after
Because
this
so many
movie,
happen.
there's no way they wouldn't talk to each other.
Yeah, that too.
You
But
know.
then they never saw each
But
other
again,
in the
but you got to
first
think
three.
though, you're supposed to be thinking that the future they got when the Sentinels start killing them, that was the future
That
where
would have been in the original
that's
too.
the future where she, Eric, and all them quit talking to each other.
Yeah. How'd you like the future looking Sentinels compared to the original ones? The original 70s looks like what we
Oh,
more see in the comic
well, I
books.
guess they all made sense to me, so I didn't really
Yeah,
have a
because
problem
they
with it.
evolved. By, like yeah, the
Yeah, because the
robots
other ones
evolved.
were basically just kept turning into they're basically like Iron Man,
Yes.
the last Iron Man before he
Yeah.
got killed.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
nano machine stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
the nano machine. They were basically big old nano machines, which is deep because in the comic book, X-Men, Iron Man is killed by Sentinels.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you didn't see that?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he's killed. Well, they didn't show him killed. They show all the people that's killed. The Sentinels killed all the Fantastic Four. They
Well,
killed
no, it's in
Iron
the
Man.
comic books. Yep.
Yeah,
They put
Captain America. Yeah, they
the
killed Captain
Fantastic Four.
America.
Yep.
They even killed Doctor Doom,
Because they couldn't differentiate which one like these
Spider
are
Man. Yeah,
these are
because
superhumans, so they
well,
must be
anybody,
mutants.
but there anything it would have even sided, or anybody would have had kids. Because you got to
Oh,
remember, Reed and Sue Richards have Franklin,
so
which he is a character
they
in the comic book.
they did put the rules in the comic books. It's C. I forgot what the other letter. I think C, A, and M. Right? C for no H. H for regular humans. So Sentinels can check if they have the mutant gene. So if they're able to detect like, oh, these are regular humans, they are allowed to procreate. But then
Yeah.
if they find humans that potentially can carry that mutant genes, they cannot procreate, and mutants obviously cannot procreate. They'll keep some, they'll kill some. It depends on how the
Well,
Sentinels want
here's
them
the
to work stuff.
here's the greatest thing about what we are just talking about.
Uh huh.
If they ever put X-Men in the MCU,
Okay.
this could be a bigger story.
Oh yes,
Because
this
see,
can
this
be
can
a
cross
bigger
into
story.
several movies.
Yep.
Because I mean, if they eventually have a Fantastic Four, and
Oh wow.
they also have a Doctor Doom, and they don't kill him off. I mean, you got to think a lot of enhanced because even Peter Parker would have a kid
Yes.
that's a mutant.
Yep.
Almost any enhanced
Superheroes
superheroes.
and hence
Yeah,
humans. Yep.
same thing with Hulk. All of those guys, they're going to have.
Oh, you haven't seen She-Hulk, but then in the season finale, right? I'm just gonna give it away right here because we're known for spoilers. Um,
Well, thanks. I haven't seen it yet.
the Hulk brings back a son in the She-Hulk finale.
Wow.
Yeah, bring back a son.
Okay. I need to start
So
watching TV so you don't spoil stuff for me.
hey, you know what? It's not my fault. It's been out for 3 years now. I guess
All right. Well,
2024.
I probably would have never watched
Whose
it
fault is that?
anyways.
Is that, huh? But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's interesting to see Hulk brings. I forgot what his name is though, Shakal or something. But it's Hulk
Oh.
brings back a son.
Just say who the mom is?
No, it's just that like this is my son, and then like that's really they touch on that.
Oh.
Daredevil's in that episode too, which is pretty cool. Matt Murdock is in that episode.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yes, it is very cool. Anything with like Daredevil in the show is very cool. Like No Way Home and Echo. It is very cool. Yep. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about that. Like that's I think one of the main reasons is like I can't wait until Disney does and like mutants, which
Yeah.
they
Well, and
started
they
it with
may
Deadpool and
never they
Wolverine.
may never not get to it, but like I said, if they wanted to tell this story in the MCU, it could be a big because I mean the Avengers would have to get involved.
Yeah.
I mean, and they didn't even have to include the Avengers. They may just do X-Men, but I mean it could go to other shows.
Or just
Which
other open the expansion
yeah,
of
because
that, yeah.
it depends on how far along because see if the MCU is smart, they'd have because actors age, the characters in the movies might as well age
Yep.
too. I mean, because we did see Tony Stark have a kid.
Yes,
I mean,
Morgan.
he dies. So everybody should age. I mean, instead of comics, because it's weird with Peter Parker getting married, but he never really ages. I mean, none of that. A lot of superheroes around him don't even age.
Yeah, that's one thing that you told me before that you didn't like. in the
Yeah, I mean,
comic
I
books.
understand why they want to, because I mean that's my money, that's your money,
Yeah,
constant money, and I'm okay with it. They don't want to age in the comic books, don't age it. But in the movie series, they can,
yeah, they can. Yep.
because and there's no reason to ever bring a character back, really. I mean, all that to me that I mean, it gives Marvel a deal. Make somebody else, make somebody, give me another movie, give me another character, give me some crappy characters from the MC the comic book world, and make them better.
Yeah, they did that, but you haven't seen that movie called first. It's called Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
The perfect example we just named, right, is the Submariner, Namor, and like in a
yeah.
comic book. So
Well,
Cody,
he was. That's the
hold
funny
on.
thing. But he's been popular to some people, but not to all the
Oh, I
generations.
know, not on the generation, but like I seen him in the comic books too. He didn't look that cool, okay? So
Yeah, he
Cody is
doesn't.
no Cody is not the one that
Yeah,
watched the comic books. So when Cody and my wife had saw this, they
yeah. Our
point
friend
in Milton,
Cody.
right? Yeah, our friend
She,
Cody,
she
Milton,
pointed out
right?
that way. People are like it's
When
Cody.
Namor showed up, like, whoa, this guy is cool. Like, dude, you should not go back to read the comics then.
Don't read the
It's
comics.
because in
Oh,
Black
he had it
Panther, he looks awesome.
in the
The way they
'90s.
made him.
In the '90s, he had his moments.
Yes, I
But
know,
everybody
I
gets
know.
cool.
That's
But
why he was in
everybody
the
gets.
Spider-Man arcade game because, like, oh, cool, Submariner or Namor. But then when you see him in the MCU, you're like, whoa, this is not what I saw. This is way better than what I saw.
I'm thinking
Way better.
a lot of characters have been improved. Because I mean, there's
That's
times
true.
when people don't really want to read
I
Captain
think
America either.
Crossbones is also yeah, I know. Crossbones is also improved majorly what I saw in the movies.
I wish they would have kept him around a
Yeah,
little bit
Captain America
longer.
also looks a lot better than what I saw in the
Oh
comic
yeah,
books.
I
Shoot,
think a
I have
lot did.
freaking all of them.
I even like Iron Man. Like I like Iron Man in the movies better than I like in the comic books.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, like even this
It's
movie,
just easier to follow and stuff.
they didn't have their own costume. They have that futuristic one from 2023. Like they still kind of dress the same like a team, but then it's not the original what we
I thought
saw
their
in the
cost. Yeah,
comic book.
I thought their costumes were cool though in
The
this movie.
only person that actually wore his costume was Magneto with that maroon purple thing. I don't know what
Yeah,
color.
well, it
Yeah,
looked a lot better in this movie than he
it
did.
did. He's the only one that
He
wore it.
slowly started evolving.
Yeah, and then I mean we saw a lot of mutants in this one. Like Havoc was like a cameo. Tote was a cameo, and that kid with the semi tattoo
Oh,
on his
Ink.
face. Ink, thank you.
And then a
Yeah,
lot of them, we realized a lot of the mutants we saw in the last movie were killed now.
yes, because Mystique went through the files from Trask's
Pretty much
secret vault.
everybody, let's put it this way, pretty much everybody that went with Magneto was killed.
Killed.
So
Yep.
don't ever go with Magneto.
And this is the first time I found out JFK was a mutant.
I don't know. I wouldn't believe that. JFK, come on. There
But
is no
you
way.
know what? I also love that it involves real events. This is the end of the Vietnam War with the Paris Peace Accords, and I did like obviously in first class they did the Cuban Missile Crisis, and now
Yeah.
this is the end of the Vietnam War. So I did like these X-Men movies. This new generation of X-Men movie was better than the first gen where it didn't tie into any
Yeah.
real life events,
Well,
but this one did.
well, that's like I said, him coming back in time changed. It acknowledged the original X-Men movie,
Yeah.
but it made sure that we'll never go through that again.
You know what? I forgot. This came out after the Fast and Furious when Justin Lin tied the Tokyo Drift with the first characters, right? Like
Yeah.
so these two sets of movies kind of like did that. Like, oh, we start anew with
Yeah.
first class.
It's like, well,
we
we're gonna
want to tell
reboot
this
it and then
story. Yep.
we're gonna reboot it, but then at the end, because see that, and I say at Tokyo Drift, at the end of Tokyo Drift, which
They
they
show
filmed later on,
yeah,
then they put a tie to it.
they did like because Justin Lin wanted to tie it. It feels like what you said on the last stand. Matthew Vaughn was supposed to direct it, right? But then he get his chance like doing something else or whatever, or they never came to terms.
Yeah.
So it seems like because Bryan Singer never did it either. It seems like Bryan Singer and suddenly Matthew Vaughn, right, came back to like, hey, you know what? We've seen X-Men Wolverine Origins or whatever you guys call it at Fox. So we decided we want to come back and help you guys to fix this. And then look what happens. Like these two guys came back because they weren't doing the last three, like the Last Stand, X-Men Origins, and the Wolverine. They weren't any part of that, so they came back and fixed this. And as soon as they left, after X-Men Days of the Future Past, everything went downhill again.
Yeah, it did. It fell apart.
It fell apart. It's like Fox was like, Okay, we can fix this now. We got the right people on. We got singer.
Which
We
we
got
also go
Vaughn.
ahead. Well, before I got another question for you, and it's a movie question, but
Okay,
let me get this out of the way before we
sure.
hit that movie question. Because at the end of this, you saw the end credits to this one because they put end credits on this to set up the next
Uh,
movie.
shoot, did they? What was
Yeah,
it? I can't remember.
Apocalypse.
Oh yes,
Yes, where the shows are building all everybody worshiping, he builds the
yeah.
pyramids.
The mutant
So
power.
they already got it set up for the next movie. But
Yep.
anyways, my movie question, since me and you're movie fans, we probably won't ever review this movie. We're talking about Fast and Furious.
Okay.
We got two Fast and Furious movies, and the third one, they
Yep.
rebooted it.
Yep.
Let me ask you this: would you have rather them keep going with the original Fast and Furious, or would you have liked to have seen more Tokyo Drift Fast and Furious?
Woo. Original.
Original, okay,
Because like it's the setting of the original cast that you fall in love with, right? It's kind of
yeah,
like yeah.
I guess. You know, the
But
funny
then
thing is, I'm on the now. I don't know how they would have kept on going with the story, but I would have been fine with more Tokyo Drift.
so the Tokyo Drift will be more like a spin-off because it's not
Yeah,
original
because
characters.
eventually they brought those characters back in the mainstream.
They brought Lucas back in the mainstream, so that was pretty
Yeah.
good. Like, so I really appreciate the people who care. Obviously, you know that, right? Like
Well, of
Justin
course,
Lin care enough
yeah.
to where like let's connect everybody back together and we could still
Well,
start
they should
anew.
have, yeah. Because if a lot of people were starting Fast and Furious, probably going, oh, so Tokyo Drift, we like this, and then they go, oh, so this was came from this.
I
So I
know,
was just saying, I was just curious.
but not everybody could be like Matthew Vaughn, Brian Singer, and Justin Lindo. Like, hey, let's make this make sense. Okay, they are in that very small group of making things make sense. Where
We're trying to
Kevin
make
Feige
sense.
is like, I'm all about
Everything,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm all about that.
We're going to start our story and without trying to
This
piece
is
it
what
back together.
happens when
Yeah.
the production
Well,
company of the producers doesn't get too involved. Like Fox,
yeah.
they probably looks like they didn't get too involved. So when they start making money, right? This
Yep.
movie
They
specifically,
want it.
now
Yeah.
they want to get involved. Like, hey, we should do this. We should bring this guy. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, they're trying to make an X-Men deal because let's put this, when this movie starts, it shows the 20th Century Fox plays the 20th Century Fox. Right on the tail end of the 20th Century Fox song, it plays the X-Men, a little bit of
oh,
the X-Men deal in it too. So
yep,
I'm like, yep, they have already started to appreciate it and try to make it into their franchise.
yeah. Too bad Fox couldn't upkeep
Should
whatever
they
happened
should have
after
planned
he.
it out a little bit better
But yes,
and had a little more faith in it.
yep.
Come
Because
on.
whatever Singer did and Vaughn, it looks like they planted this. Like, hey, how do we connect the dots from whatever the
But
last one
see,
to this one?
but see, that's the sad thing. See, the problem is the franchises only seem to work for 20th Century Fox if somebody else brings it, like Star Wars. George Lucas already thought it all out, had a pretty good plan.
Same thing.
They
They
picked it
thought it
up.
all out. Yeah.
They got a good deal. But then when Fox gets something like Aliens, they're like, this is a good deal, but we're really not going to really do the franchise right.
We're gonna go all over the
We're
place.
just gonna
So
we're just gonna
Aliens is
keep
a same perfect example.
Aliens is the exact same
Perfect
example.
example when I said Alien 1, 2, and 3 kind of doesn't really go along with each other. It's like a
None
new
of them
story.
do. It's like I mean, come on, it's not playing. It's just like, oh, you want this? They're like, they find the director's pretty good. We're kind of wanting to do it. We're gonna let you do what you want.
We're
And
gonna
he's
let
like, so the director's probably like, so I don't have to like watch the first two. They're like, no,
no.
don't even. We don't even want you to watch the first two. We already got the characters written for you. Just make the story. We'll make it work later
So
if it's successful.
so this is Fox's thing,
But
which
I'm sorry.
is
So let me ask you, when? Because it took them longer to try to reboot Aliens than anything.
yeah, and the time like you don't really have to care for the timeline. It's kind of like X-Men. Like, hey, you
And
know
the
the
problem
movies
is,
that we show you, you don't have to connect any of them together.
and the sad thing is now the problem with Aliens still, and Aliens is doing okay now. People like Aliens, but the problem is now you got two main filmmakers because you got the guy that created the first Alien movie.
Yep.
He's a real famous director. He's got his own story now. He's like, should be the story for Aliens. But a lot of people are like, well, we like Cameron's version better.
Oh,
A lot of people are mad
I wouldn't
at
say better. I also like it.
I also like it too, but I
Yeah.
think there's room to put them both together and just make a better story. I guess we're gonna have to get Matthew on to make the next Aliens movie. I don't know.
Or get involved. Somebody could get involved. Like, it could be
Yeah, can't
John
get
Favreau.
John Favreau's busy.
Yes, he's busy.
He
He
is
needs
the
to.
god. He is the godfather of Star Wars and Marvel. So
I wouldn't say Godfather. David, what's his name? David. I can't
hey,
remember.
I'm gonna
Filoni.
give him the. I'm gonna give him the Godfather. Everybody else got a place. Okay, you got the princes and the kings. Just a Godfather. It's not really interfering with anything
But I would say more of Star Wars than the MCU because he only
now.
did part of it. Yeah,
But he is the guy that got the ball rolling.
yeah, he's definitely the guy that got the
He
ball
put his
rolling.
neck out there and had some faith in it.
Yeah, and I
He's
just
thinking this is gonna be good. He's probably like looking at Feige, going, "Yep, this is a great idea. This will work."
and like we gotta have a list. We already know like, oh, these are the actors that wasn't really the best at their job, but they're so much better at directing. Like Ben Affleck
Yeah,
and
yeah, it is. We
John
should have it.
Favreau.
We ought
John
to do
Favreau,
that.
Ben Affleck, definitely. But
Yeah, who would have
dude,
thought?
you can't. Not everybody can be Clint Eastwood. Okay, where you get a badass actor and director. Clint
Yeah,
Eastwood can do them all.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Clint Eastwood can tell the story and act it out.
because to him, they're both simple things.
That to him,
Yeah,
to
it's
Clint
like
Eastwood.
I like it because I read something on how a lot of people don't like Clint Eastwood's directing style. I mean, I'm not talking
Really?
about audience. I'm talking about some actors. They work with him. They're like, he doesn't like to take a lot of takes. He usually only takes one take.
Oh, Eastwood, yeah. Because
Yeah,
if he's that generation, we're like,
but,
okay, that's it.
but think about it. Honestly, it does make sense because would you want to keep doing it?
Yeah, you already got it right the first time.
The actor's like, well, I could do it better than that. I'm like, the audience is really going to know.
No. Yeah.
I mean, because the way Clint Eastwood says it, I see what's going on. This is the picture that I'm going to present.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not going to present your picture of you overacting to the audience because each time you do it, you overact a little bit more. Why would I want to show that to the world? I want to make it look as real as possible.
Hmm.
Because I mean, Clint Eastwood ain't directing Star Wars.
We haven't done a Clint Eastwood directed movie on
We've
this channel.
never done a Clint Eastwood because he doesn't do sci-fi.
He
I'm
doesn't
not
have to do
against it.
sci-fi.
I'm not against it. I'm just
I
saying
mean,
that's just most
un-
of our stuff is sci-fi though.
Unforgiven is a very good story.
The funny thing about Unforgiven, it depends. To most people, Unforgiven is a very good story. I think to people who love westerns and watch lots of westerns,
Oh, it's a great
uh,
story. Unforgiven.
Unforgiven is just
It's
I've seen it
awesome.
before. No, I've seen it before.
Oh, okay.
No, not to me. I'm not saying that, but I've just
No, no, no,
talked to
yeah.
people, knowing people that I've seen people that love westerns, grew up with westerns. I go, oh, Unforgiven. They're like, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's because they've seen this story before.
What did they say about Tombstone?
Lots of people love Tombstone.
Is it because they look so good? Like
I
for
think
me,
don't.
right?
I think Tombstone. I don't know.
Tombstone looks
Tombstone's
like the Glee of today's society. I don't know.
really. I don't
Because
know.
they're so
Tombstone
well dressed, right? 'Cause,
to
like, I
me.
like
Tombstone actually
the
to me.
assassination of Jesse James better. Like it's
I
more
don't
real
know.
life.
I think it is, but a lot of people don't like Jesse James or little westerns don't like Jesse James because it's so slow and boring.
Yeah.
But to me, Tombstone looked pretty real. I mean, it's got its fake deals. It's got its Young Guns style too. But
We did it again. I don't know how we derailed you. Westerns.
because we love movies, dude.
That is
And
true.
the thing is, there's so many movies out there we want to talk about, and we're trying to put ourselves to one movie per week.
Yeah, it's
I
very
mean,
tough.
and there's tons of movies that we'll never get to. So we might as well just derail. And plus, we're at the end of X-Men.
I wouldn't
I
say the
mean,
end of Mixed Men. Like we didn't talk
no,
about
we're
Quicksilver.
at the okay.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
jump back. Well, let's
Let's
jump back.
jump back.
I forgot we everybody loves this Quicksilver.
No, I wouldn't say I love this Quicksilver. I
I
don't
like this
like
Quicksilver.
the I don't like that they don't have the twins effect in this movie. Like they don't have Wanda. But they show
Oh yeah,
Quicksilver, but they don't have Wanda.
they've already redid the whole story. I mean, you got to think we're
But he
got
was holding a little girl though.
Colossus is not even Russian in this movie, so what does it
No.
matter? And the little girl is supposed to be Wanda.
Wanda, that's what I was thinking
And they
too.
say Maximoff. Of course, the mom acts like she recognizes Magneto.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was okay. I liked the way they used him in this movie. The
Use
Quicksilver
Quicksilver.
character was pretty cool. And plus, one of the best scenes in the movie is him running around and rearranging everything.
Oh.
It's just one big giant special effects moment, but it was worth it. Actually like it. Sometimes they do too many special effects moments. It's like I didn't really need that to move the story along, and you didn't really need this to move the story along, but it makes it interesting
Oh, the
because it's a
Quicksilver
kind
scenes.
of because it's kind of a what if, and then plus they're setting up a good character.
Yeah.
A lot of people like this. I think a lot of people like this Quicksilver over the MCU Quicksilver, which I understand why. I mean, this one got more screen time than the other Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite? That's a question right now. Which one's your favorite? Because
Oh,
we've seen them both. I mean,
probably this one.
mine's the other one. I like the MCU version better.
I like this one because, like you said, it has more screen time.
Yeah,
The other one is like he's a side character to his sister.
yeah. But I do like. I think in a few scenes
That
you get
he's
more.
yeah,
You're more. He's more Quicksilver
yeah.
than this one is.
Oh yeah, you're
This
like, oh, you didn't
by the
see
comic
that
book
coming.
stuff, yeah, yeah. Because he's a kind of a hothead, kind of a jerk. He's not
Yeah,
the nicest, the most nice guy. Plus, he seems yeah. The Quicksilver to me in the MCU is more like the Quicksilver in the comic books.
yeah. I agree.
And I wish he would have got killed because I would like to see more of him.
Oh, see, that's the
And the
thing.
neat
Yep.
thing is, because the neat thing about it, also, we might as well go ahead and touch it because it may be a while because we've already passed all the MCU Quicksilvers already.
Mm-hmm.
Is the neat thing in the movie Kick Ass, MCU Quicksilver
It's
is Kick
kick-ass.
Ass,
Yeah,
and the funny thing is
the kick-ass in
Quicksilver,
this movie is
yeah,
also
well,
in kick-ass.
no Quicksilver, yeah,
It's
Quicksilver
Quicksilver in this movie.
in this movie,
Is one of the
if Fox
friends.
is just one of the friends I thought was interesting. We probably pointed it out. I can't remember.
I can't remember. Did we talk about kick-ass?
We have not done that movie yet. We
Okay,
need to. I
that's
mean,
what I
we
was about
probably
to say.
mentioned it when last time we did uh
Yeah,
what
both
Age of
kick-asses was in. I
Ultron. I'm
mean,
sure
both
when we did.
Quicksilvers was in kick-ass.
And
Yep.
of course, the MCU Quicksilver gets another shot at MCU. Well, he doesn't really get the MCU. He's got his own movie now, Craven the Hunter,
Oh yes.
which I'm not gonna go. Oh yes, because I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm not
eh,
either.
we'll
It's
see.
Sony.
Because it's Sony trying to do the deal. They've already tried it several times, and they're
They
not.
did.
I don't
Madam
think they're really
Web,
good. I haven't seen that
Morpheus.
on web, so I'm not gonna
I
try.
haven't
I'm not
seen
gonna talk
Morpheus.
smack about it yet.
Venom, but Venom is the only one that is getting a trilogy.
Yeah, he got a trilogy,
And
which
also
I've
that
never seen
that
any of
Venom
them.
was in MCU.
Yeah, they did let him go in the MCU.
And then that's really it. I don't know what Sony is trying to do. Like they're trying to wait for Kevin Feige to fix all this stuff, whatever they're
Yeah, I guess
planning.
they are. Well, they're hoping they'll do another Spider-Man like they did last time, which to me didn't really fix that much. It was a
Uh,
good movie. You
Imagine
loved
if
it.
wait, what? Which one?
The what was it? The Spider-Man that had all three Spider-Mans.
Oh, No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home.
No Way
You
Home is
liked it.
awesome.
Yeah, to you.
No Way Home is the best thing that came out after Endgame.
No,
Oh,
no, it is not.
no, it is.
Doctor Strange second. Second Doctor Strange was
Doctor Strange is a close second, but No Way
in
Home
your
is the
book, but not
best
in
thing.
my book.
Oh, it's my
Not
book,
in my book.
definitely. It's
Yeah,
the
well,
best thing.
I'm not reading your book. We're gonna read mine for
It
a
was
bit.
like
It's a real short book.
mine is the best one.
I know yours is like looks like that notebook that's in seven.
With a whole bunch of notes and like craziness of
Yeah,
it. No,
yeah.
I accept that. I accept it. Yep. Thank you. That was a compliment actually.
It actually is a compliment now I think
Yep.
about it. Yeah, see mine's that little tiny notebook you carry in your shirt pocket.
But like,
Yeah. It just says like Iron Man
and I do like
and
that Deadpool and Wolverine is the kickstart to the mutants. I mean they did mention other mutants in MCU, kind of like what I said
yeah,
about Namor.
kinda.
Namor is a mutant, and also Miss Marvel is a mutant.
Oh yeah.
Yep. They kind of
Yeah.
hinted it. They didn't say like, "Hey, you're a mutant."
Yeah.
They didn't say that. So, what else do I like? The prison break scene. You're right. Like Quicksilver scenes was come and gone. I did like a lot of times, even taken from X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's always Wolverine knowing these extra people. Like, oh, I know a guy. Well, he's probably a lot younger now. He knows who did he know in well, he always know those mutants, but he always like knows somebody that he can pull from. I
Yeah.
also like this movie in Days of Future Past where
But you also remember that was the old Logan that we saw because we see
yes.
Quicksilver in. He's walking in the concentration camp with ink.
Oh wait, what?
He is at the beginning of this movie. Quicksilver, the older Quicksilver, is in this X Men. Yeah, he's in
Really?
the concentration camp with ink.
Oh,
Remember, because ink's in there too.
that's right.
So yeah, they're there. That's why he knows him. Then
Oh.
of course, he's like I like it when he sees Beast. He's Beast's friend.
Oh, that's awesome. That scene
You
is
know,
great. Like, oh, you're Beast.
I like Kelsey Grammer as Beast.
I do too. Well,
Even in that scene, because it's sort of like he's in this movie too. He's only a short dude. He just goes hi, basically
yeah, hi
hi.
Logan.
I was thinking, man, he looks like Beast.
He
He
does.
is like the
I think it's
Beast of the
because
comic.
when we see Beast in the comic book, he was already a lot older.
Yeah, he was a lot older.
In the
Well,
'90s, he
yeah,
was a
when we
lot
saw
older.
him, yeah,
Yeah,
when we saw him, yeah, and he wore the glasses, everything. He was
yeah.
he was basically the
So
smart
I did
version.
like the scene in when the Professor X kind of remembered like Logan, like I remember you. You told me, well, now I'm going to say the same thing to you what you told me when we first met you. That was awesome.
Yeah,
That
that's right.
was great. I kind of didn't like the serum that Professor X injects him
Yeah,
with
he
to
just
give
looked
like
too much like heroin.
yes,
It's kind of go,
just
oh.
I didn't like that part.
But for the time period, I guess that would be the only way you'd be taking it.
Yeah,
But it does look it's kind of like, yeah, because we're just like, but it's supposed to do that. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable.
it makes me
And it
think like
does.
you about like what in the '70s Professor X, right? He's kind of whiny.
Yeah, he is. But the problem is somehow he got over it.
He did because he knew what he had to do. Oh, it's the scene when he meets his older self.
Yeah. But I mean, before, if the future wouldn't interfered, somehow he had to get over it,
Yeah,
or that Charles Xavier in the future wouldn't have been there. See
yeah,
what I'm
that's true
saying?
too.
So even without Wolverine's involvement, he had to get over it somehow. I wonder what caused it.
What's like crazy to me? Like I didn't even think. Oh, you know what? I need to finish reading the '60s to '80 X-Men. So you see how Beast, how he can sometimes go back to Beast form and go back to human form.
Yeah.
Because eventually he stays the Beast form.
Yeah. Well, he
Yeah,
made that serum. Yeah, the same serum that he's given Professor Xavier.
he
Plus,
says
it
it's
is in
not.
the comic books. They base that on the comic books. Beast has
Ah,
something in the comic books where he does that
okay. I did like the
eventually.
interaction.
But
Like,
the thing
oh,
is, I was thinking though, here's the funny thing, all right, they won't make Mystique. Mystique is the key to making the Sentinels
yep,
dangerous. So Magneto tries to destroy her and kill her,
yep.
so they can't get her. But let's say Magneto made it. He killed her,
He killed
got
Mystique.
rid of
Okay,
Mystique.
Raven. Yeah.
Actually, there would still be a way because the stuff that Beast has would help the Sentinels too. And the stuff that's
Ah,
in Beast's blood is
dude,
the
that's
same stuff because you got to remember he
the
turned
way
blue
you're
because
talking about it is very Terminated too. No, there's one more chip. Boom.
there's one more chip. See, the other chip is Beast because see, remember Beast put her DNA in him, and that's what turned him blue.
Oh,
So he's got her DNA in there too.
that's right. I never thought about that.
So he's a carrier of some of
Of
Mystique's stuff. He can't change, but it's what makes him change blue. And then if he could take a medicine that kind of deadens her DNA, he turns back to normal.
like that kid from the Last Stand.
Yeah. So basically, he's basically putting something in there, and all it does is it just deadens her DNA, and he turns back normal.
One thing that we have to talk about that I didn't even get a chance to see, Rogue was in this movie. They
Yeah,
cut
but
all her stuff out.
yeah, they said there's a road cut. I've never seen it.
I never
They
seen it
do.
either, but they probably cut on YouTube because on all the promotion like for this movie, Rogue was
Yeah.
in a lot of them. And then
Oh,
when the
really?
movie, yes,
I wonder why they cut
she
it
was
all
in
out.
posters, she was in promotion material, everything. When this
Maybe
movie
they
came out,
maybe they
she
just
was
had to
gone.
maybe they just had to cut it
But then
down.
it makes sense because like we didn't get to see too much of Iceman
Yeah.
or
Well, the
Storm.
problem is it was Iceman with Kitty now in the future.
Yeah, it's with Kitty,
And,
but
but that's because Rogue is dead,
yeah.
so he's moving on.
But in the comic books, Kitty is married to Colossus.
Which is always makes some more sense. But in this
Yep.
one, it's not.
Yeah, this one's
Well,
not.
we don't really know the dynamics. I mean, the thing
It's
is,
whatever they
Iceman,
did.
in this movie, in a way, you can't really say he was with Kitty because he really wasn't. He just kind of protected her a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he also protected all the other ones. He was one of the older students.
Yeah,
He's already lost so many people.
yeah. I did like
And,
they I guess in this movie they still technically killed the X-Men like they did in the comic book. So
well, also like,
Wolverine dies in the comic books. I don't know if you knew.
yeah,
Because the
he
Sentinel
gets fried.
completely yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah,
Oh
for
yeah, I
sure.
saw that. I never read the comic book, but I've seen the panel. They've shown the panel 100
Yep.
times,
So
showing
I
that
was
you
like,
can
oh.
kill Wolverine.
Yeah, and then that's
So so
after the
basically,
Sentinel killed the Wolverine, they kill Storm, they kill Colossus.
oh, they kill a lot of people. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
I was about to
because
go
that
with it.
issue actually advertised in this one, everybody dies because they resolved this one by not killing
Well,
Senator
I'm going to
Kelly.
jump back to this though. It showed two X-Men, Warpath
Oh,
and
Warpath,
Sunspot.
Sunspot, Bishop.
Well, Bishop's not original X-Men though.
No, it's X Factor.
But
I want to say.
I'm talking about there was original. There was the first team,
Yeah,
and then there was a
Warpath. That's
second
right.
team.
Yeah.
The second team had Warpath, and I think it was Sunspot, wasn't it?
Yes. Who was that Asian? Is she Sunspot? Is that Sunspot? No.
The
The
Asian,
Asian girl. Yeah.
no, the Asian girl is Blink. She's later on,
Oh, Blank. That's
which
right.
she's from China. That's what's her name,
Yeah.
Fan Ben or
Yeah. She
Ben.
has the portal doors.
Yeah,
That was
she's
a
a
cool
portal,
one.
which I liked her. I liked her deal. Her thing was awesome.
Yep.
The portals, because that reminds me of the game Portal,
Yes.
which is so awesome.
Yep. I
Because
did
all
like
she
the
has to do is
portal.
open it up, make things shoot each other and stuff. But yeah, but I'm talking about the second team of the X-Men when they introduced Storm,
Yeah.
Wolverine, Colossus. There was also Warpath,
Yep.
and I think it was Sunspot. It was either Sunspot or somebody else. Because maybe Sunspot may be New Mutants. Can't remember.
Oh.
But there was a guy turned into like fire.
Yeah. That feuded Bishop's weapon. Was it Sunspot? Yeah, it was
Yeah, but
Sunspot.
see,
Yeah.
Sunspot's in this movie, but I can't remember if Sunspot was the second team of the X-Men or if he was just New
Yeah.
Mutants.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I can't remember all these people's powers, but like, Kitty is the one that can go through stuff, but then she can also she's kind of like rogue in a way where like if she touches the other person can go through stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she can make the time
Well,
travel
she's
thing.
second, and she's second team too,
Yeah, she's second team. Yep.
but not one of the main members of the second team. When I talk about the main members of the second
Oh yeah, I can't
X-Men
remember.
giant size.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that you said the giant size. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is Sunspot one of the original members, or was his name something else?
I don't know.
Because he's from Japan, and this guy wasn't Japanese.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So I don't know. Maybe Sunspot. I'm probably getting Sunspot confused with somebody else, and Sunspot's
Yeah.
probably just New Mutants.
So between Sunspot and Iceman, right, the Sentinel took their power just to defeat each other, but then it
Yeah.
didn't work in their favor. Like basically, they were fighting the same thing, but then the Sentinels was just much stronger.
Well, yeah, because they had much more of them, and it was a lot larger.
Yeah, but I think just the large factor.
Maybe it had to be for the
Maybe.
movie. I mean, because it's a movie. I mean,
Yeah.
because physics don't really work in movies. Logic don't really work in movies either. Otherwise,
Yeah, and then suddenly
otherwise
Magneto
that
can
movie.
might control all the Sentinels by putting the railroad tracks into the Sentinels' bodies.
Well,
'Cause,
he
like,
turned. Yeah, well, he turned it into strips of wire.
yeah, he just made them
It
work.
doesn't really make that much sense if you really want to get into it.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it because like
I
it's
mean,
like
the way I say it, he put because you couldn't really turn an electronic thing into a puppet with wire. Because I mean, you put the wires all in it, and he couldn't short circuit it.
no, this is 70 technology. I like that because like Trask also said like, oh, none of these are made by of metal, so you don't have to worry about them. And then suddenly he can control all of them.
What's this? The neat thing is they have all the plastic guns. What's
Yeah,
the
they
plastic
introduced
gun?
the plastic guns.
They had the plastic guns. They have 57. Look like 57 magnums, or actually those probably police specials. What they had
Okay.
made out of plastic, shooting
Yep.
bullets. But those guns were better than the guns they had in the future
In the future,
when they got
the
Magneto.
first one, yeah, the first
Yeah.
one, yep.
And
Like
plus, bullets. The problem is the bullets are still metal, aren't they?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Though, not to me. Like I don't think they were metal. And that's really funny. Like you're right. Like this timeline thing is all out of whack. So you meant to tell me when they caught Magneto in the 70s or after he tried to kill the president, right? You put him in a thing like which is mostly concrete and plastic when there were a shortage of metal because they talked about that, right? But then in the 90s, suddenly you couldn't use the play. We know Magneto is here, but let's carry metal guns anyway. Even though let's just say we don't carry metal guns, right? Let's drive this metallic car to capture Magneto.
But here's the thing. Here's the
Yeah.
neat thing about the movie we should talk about. Would you want mutants in the real world after watching these movies now?
So, I'm watching with my boys, right? We're almost caught up to this movie.
Okay.
We just watched X-Men Wolverine Origins, okay? My 8-year-old boy, Ryan, he said like, oh, I love mutants. I'm like, I love mutants too, because that's
Yeah,
why I love
yeah.
X-Men. And I'm thinking like, I probably do, But
No,
I'm
apply the real world. You live in your real world, trying to protect your family. With all this, if all this was to happen in the world.
but then how is that different from like actual real bad guys in the real world, right? It's just they're not mutants.
Yeah, but let's put it this way. No, I'm talking about what you've seen already. If that was to happen in our real world, would you like to see news? Nothing like this happens in our real world. Nobody just walk up and pick up the White House.
Or pick up a
Nobody could just
stadium and put it around the White
yeah,
House.
and put a stadium around the White House, or just start teleporting people up in the sky and dropping them. I mean,
So
if you notice by these movies, because even in the X-Men comic books, they have limitations to what they can do, how dangerous
right,
they are. In these movies, there is no limitation to them. These guys are more powerful than Superman,
to a certain extent, yeah.
almost too.
I mean, like Magneto can do the metal stuff, yeah,
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, he's almost killed the president like numerous times. He
yeah.
just gets stopped by one little bitty hiccup.
I
So,
probably
would you?
still do. So here's my thought on this. Okay,
Okay.
I'm 40 something. Since I was 20 something, I did. But now I still do. But I have an additional question. Like, man, who's gonna pay for all this shit? Like he booked a stadium just to put around the White
Yeah,
House, right? And
well,
I'm thinking,
you're gonna pay for that.
oh, I know, because the textile is money, right? And it's so funny. I keep telling Heather this, like when he dropped it. Me and Heather was watching it together. They dropped the stadium around the White House. I'm like, who's gonna
Hey,
pay
by
for
the
that?
way, that makes me want to ask:
Yeah.
Was that the Senators?
What do you mean the Senators? Oh, we're in that room with him?
The stadium was that the
Oh,
Washington Senators?
I don't know. That's
Because it looked
funny.
like a baseball field, right?
Yeah, it's a baseball field. I didn't know where the closest stadium to the White House was.
Well, I'm just saying that because the Texas Rangers are the Senators,
Oh, really?
or were the Senators. I think it was the Senators. Yeah, Washington
Oh, in
D.C.
the
doesn't have.
70s. Oh, yes.
Is it? Is
Oh, I
it?
don't know.
Because I don't know when they came along.
I didn't connect the dots until you just said the Rangers were the Senators.
I just
Holy
now did
crap.
this
I totally forgot about that.
because otherwise it doesn't
And
make
you're
any
the one who doesn't
sense.
like sports.
All right, so I might be a little bit of a liar on that, but
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I mean, I don't know follow back. Like, I only know 90s Mets and then
okay.
the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. How long has the Texas Rangers been around?
I want to say the 70s,
Because that's the
right?
thing. Because there was a baseball team, and I mean I know Washington had a baseball team, but the way Washington baseball team moved and became the Texas Rangers,
Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I actually Google how long has the Texas Rangers been around. Oh, began 1961.
Okay, so that couldn't have been them.
They were the Washington Senators, so it's not that one.
So then why is there a baseball field in Washington,
It
D.C.?
might not be.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they
maybe
never
not.
actually told you, like, they never actually show you which stadium this was.
But who? Well, is there a baseball team in Maryland?
Mm, what is the. I'm going to put what's the
I
closest
think it
stadium.
is. Isn't there? No, Isn't it Baltimore? Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore. Baltimore, yeah. There's a baseball team
Or
in Baltimore, so I'll see.
that's Maryland, right?
Closest baseball stadium to the White House. Choctaw Stadium? What is
Oh,
this?
really?
National Park?
I guess there is one.
Yeah, there's one.
I mean, I'm not from that area, so I wouldn't know what's in DC.
Yeah. And they never actually show you what field he stepped onto. Like,
Yeah, they
for
never
some
show you.
reason, I just thought it was Boston because I don't like the Red Sox. that's all I thought. I'm like, oh, this is the Red Sox stadium because it's messing it up. This they never show what field. You can't even tell from the stuff around. I just thought it was the Red
Well, I
Sox.
thought it was neat because all the old signs that you see hanging up inside the
Yeah,
stadium fall.
which is so funny. Just I don't like the Red Sox. That's it.
Yeah, well, I already decided because he didn't travel so far.
He didn't travel so far, but also I didn't know how far he was moving too. So
Yeah,
yeah, at least apparently he planned it out. Like, I'm going to put a baseball stadium around this.
because because he already had the Sentinels there, so he couldn't go too far.
He didn't go too far. Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the coolest things I saw. He move a baseball stadium.
Yeah, because all the metal
But
in
then it
there.
also mentioned, like, in the Last Stand, Magneto and Professor X like a level 5 mutants. Not
Yeah,
everybody's like above a level 3 there, except for Magneto
yeah.
and
Did the stadium seem that crazy to you? Him moving the stadium?
because a lot of it is metal, but then a lot of it is concrete too.
Yeah, well,
That's why
it's
it's
got
able to
metal
pick
all
it up.
inside the concrete. Yeah,
Yeah, the metal inside the concrete. So like it
yeah,
didn't
that all
seem all
move
too
on.
crazy because
Oh, I was
It's
just
been
thinking because
10 years,
because
so he's more
because
powerful.
to me when he moves the Golden Gate Bridge, that looked a little silly, and it may
Like,
have
it's
been
that
special
gesture thing,
effects.
you know, like,
Yeah, it may have been, but also when when the Golden Gate Bridge lands and connects to the
yeah, it makes like a ramp.
Alcatraz,
Yeah,
yeah, it's also special effects here. It's like, no, this is even for a mutant, even in this universe,
but this one looks
no,
better though. Like the
this looked better.
stadium, yeah, it
Oh,
looks
this looked
more
way
intact.
better.
It looks more realistic.
It made a little more sense, even though somebody's got to come out there with jackhammers, dump trucks. It's going to take them a long time to tear all that
Just
down.
clean this up, right? You gotta
Yeah,
call Batman to clean this up like he did in Spider-Man Homecoming.
yeah.
Just like who's gonna pay for this? We don't have an
Well,
Iron Man around.
yeah, because they do eventually in the MCU have somebody that pays for it. We see it in the Spider-Man movie.
Oh yes,
Remember?
yes. The task force or whatever.
Yeah, which
Yes.
they actually put in the comics too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Like in real life, you're right. Like, are we going to be going to that extent of damages around here? Because I'm
yeah.
gonna have to go somewhere
But
else.
to me though, by this movie standards, like I asked you though, mutants seem like they'd be too dangerous. Because see, there is nothing to stop them. If they were in our real world,
It would just be
if
like the comic books. We fear them. We fear
yeah, well,
them.
you would have to because you couldn't stop them. There's no,
Yep.
they would have to have an Avengers to stop them.
Yep.
I mean, in this their universe, they have no Avengers or no other super teams to
But
even
then the
counter it.
the question is post finally like, so if I would like mutants in the real world, I mean in the real world, right? Can I be a mutant? But then you don't get to choose your
No,
powers.
you don't get to. You have to be. I'm going to go ahead and say you have to be a regular person.
Then no.
Yeah, 'cause you
I
no, you
think the
got to be
only
a
way
regular.
that I would want to be a mutant, then yeah, of course I want mutants in the world
Yeah,
if I was
because
a mutant.
you got it. It's like saying, hey, can I, if I live in this world full of everybody's carrying a pistol, can I carry a pistol too?
Yeah, yeah.
And
That is
people are
that
like,
world, yeah.
nope, sorry, you can't. No, everybody else gets one, but you don't get one.
So it's kind of like you're asking a rhetorical question then.
Well, I'm sure I
If
am.
you
I
set
ask a
these
lot of
rules,
those.
like, man, no, I want to be a mutant too. I want
Well,
to be
I'm just saying
whatever.
I wouldn't want mutants. From watching this stuff, if Magneto can just show up and do whatever he wants, and you got to listen to him or he'll kill you.
But
I
I
mean,
do like the
basically,
idea.
it's not even that problem. The problem with Magneto is he don't care. He don't really want humankind to listen to him. He just wants to kill you.
Yeah, he already believes his race is superior, which
He's already
which
decided
we already
you need
have
to be.
people like that in real life that
Yeah,
they
we
think
do.
their race is more superior. Okay.
Yeah, we're already gone through that.
Yeah.
But usually those people we can stop them
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we're equal. We're actually equal to them. But in
Yeah.
this movie, there is nobody equal to him.
I know, but people with powers. Who,
You gotta hope that somebody like Professor Xavier shows up to
that's what
stop
I
him.
said too. Like,
But
what
here's
if
the thing,
Professor
though.
Xavier is a bad guy? That
But
would
what?
be
But
crazy.
yeah. But here's my next question.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know if it's a question though. Here's something I've seen. Everything we've seen makes Professor Xavier seem like he's wrong. He's constantly going on the human side, but in every movie, it's because he's protecting humans that still don't care about him.
And that's one of the things I like about the X
Yeah.
Men.
Well, he keeps trying to do the right thing, but nowhere in here is the right thing seem to be helping him. Because even at the beginning of this movie, it's like, oh, Professor Xavier's already wrong because they've already made machines to wipe him out. Almost everything.
Yeah,
They're
it's
always
like
trying
no
to wipe
matter
him
how
out.
hard he trying to be on the human side, they would never accept him.
I mean, eventually in the future, it would make sense for people to finally get over it because it always happens. I mean, in
They
our real
did
world,
they
in our
did a
real
little bit in
world,
the Last
because
Stand.
you got to think, even in our real world, we've had people we didn't accept, and over time they accept them.
You know what? This is like the matter of opinion of that person in charge at the time, right? Because this one
Yeah,
they show Nixon, he's like, oh, he's afraid of mutants. But in the Last Stand, the president still afraid of mutants, but then he still understand because like that's why he have Hank McCoy in the cabinet.
yeah.
But then he did some things, but it
Oh
really
yeah,
depends on the person in charge at that time.
yeah. Which is funny because that wasn't the same president in that movie. That was the president when GI Joe gets taken over by Cobra.
Oh my
Was
gosh,
it?
I don't remember that right now. I don't remember that right now.
It probably
I have
wasn't
to
the same.
rewatch it.
It
I
wasn't the same
want to
one.
tell you, Shane,
The presidents always look the
when
same.
we first watched G.I. Joe, right? Must be the only time I watched G.I. Joe. Like with you and Cody, right?
Oh
We
yeah, well
definitely
that's
went to
the
see
first one.
G.I.
I'm talking
Joe.
about the second one. I'm talking about the second GI Joe movie.
I don't think I've seen the second one.
The second one, The Rise of Cobra, the president of the United States gets replaced by Zartan, and he looks almost like the same. It's not. I don't think
He
it's the
almost
same
like this one.
actor.
No,
He
it's
almost looks
probably
like
was
the
the same.
same. Almost looks the same president. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, I
This might
can't
be a not
remember
a,
GI
this may not
Joe.
be a president you want to vote for. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but then that's really it, right? Depends on who's in charge at the time.
Yeah.
You
Well, it
know.
depends on also, yeah, people's thinking, what's written.
Yep.
It's basically it depends on the general thinking of the time,
And the movie,
and
they
most
talk
people
about the
won't go.
Sentinel also kill humans because they have
Yeah,
the potential to produce it. I
yeah.
mean,
Actually, it goes to kill anything,
so this
anybody
is
that.
like Terminator.
Yeah, that's basically anybody that could create a mutant.
It's
Which
gone.
basically, here's the sad thing is, over time, by the way this movie works, all humanity could create a
Which yeah,
mutant.
mutants. Yep.
So eventually, they it would have to exterminate all humans. So it would be Terminator.
Yeah, it's very Terminator-ish.
Because basically the machine's way of saying,
Maybe that's why
don't.
Brian Singer talked to because his idea of the
Maybe that
Sentinels is the Terminators. Yeah.
maybe that's the thing. Maybe it got twisted. He's like
Yep. So this is a
Cameron was like, why don't you just have them kill everybody?
so
And
this is
And
definitely
Singer was like, okay, I'll have them kill everybody.
X-Men Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Plus, I also like it. They had Star Trek in this too.
They did. I can't
Remember when they go into Hank's private little lab? He's got
Oh
there.
yes.
He's watching Star Trek.
He's watching Star Trek because he's
The
recording PBS.
Star Trek has a lot of time travel.
It's like
too.
wow.
I do like
I
it.
could
He
record
goes,
all three
I do love
channels.
it. He goes all three channels and
And
PBS,
PBS.
and of course, Logan's like all three channels. Huh? He goes,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
and
PBS.
and
And
PBS.
PBS.
I'm sure
I
he's thinking.
forgot.
He's probably thinking. I'd like to tell you, there's going to be like 300 stations. Dude.
Every time like something like this come up, right? We talked about this on the show numerous time, but I tell Heather and my wife that like, too bad I didn't get to watch Star Trek when I was a little kid because probably due to very limitations of what I can receive.
There, let me put it this way: Next Generation's what you should have got to see. Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. But
Because
I was
man, all
I
those
was in
alternate,
America at the time of Next
all the
Generation,
alternate,
but
yeah,
then
especially because
I
they had a lot of alternate
you know what's really
reality
funny?
ones.
I do remember seeing some Star Trek, but like it's always like how when the picture is clear back then in the
Yeah.
tube, right? Then suddenly you see like the red, green, and blue colors in mixed with the picture. Like I'm not gonna be able to see this clearly because sometimes the sound goes out.
Yeah,
It happens like that when I'm trying to watch a baseball game as a little kid. Where like, well, I can't watch this because like it's either the
maybe
audio went off or like
maybe
the
that
picture.
was the universe trying to tell you don't watch baseball, but somehow you still did anyways.
I did every
But
chance
you
I
did,
see the
but
misplay.
but you didn't watch Star Trek.
I couldn't watch Star Trek. It's just like
Oh,
the
okay.
baseball. Like if it won't show properly, I'm not gonna watch this show.
But you,
Sorry.
but you still saw it anyway.
I saw ABC because it could play that channel really well.
Yeah,
And I want to say whatever Young Rider was on.
TGI Fridays.
Yeah, is it Young Riders was on NBC or something? Do you remember?
Yeah, Young Riders. Yeah, I remember Young Riders. I
So
don't remember
I-
what network it was.
Oh, okay.
But I
I
did
could watch. I watch a lot of Knight Rider reruns. So
Oh, yeah,
whatever
Knight
that
Rider.
was on, whatever channel that was on,
Too bad you didn't get Airwolf.
I did not get Airwolf.
That was USA Network.
I also watched a lot of A Team. That was on
All
ABC.
right, all right.
That was on
Thank you.
ABC. Yeah, well,
I watched-
MacGyver's on ABC.
But you did somehow miss the Fall Guy.
I did.
I don't know how. That's a shame. How about Deuce Hazard? Did you get to see Deuce Hazard?
No, but I know what it is. I think
Okay.
the reruns sometimes come on Saturdays around late afternoon. By
Oh,
late, I
okay.
mean like 2 to 3.
But you didn't see it back then with the 18.
I only seen the field. Like
See,
18 was a lot.
See, that was me growing up. That was the Fall Guy, Knight
18?
Rider. Oh, yeah, it was 18. You had to watch A-Team. You also watched Fall Guy. And then you watched Knight Rider and then Airwolf. And there was something called Street Hawk. It only lasted a little while. Dude on the
Oh, I never
motorcycle.
seen that. Yeah.
He had the suit. Yeah, they had this guy made him a special suit. And he had all kinds of stuff.
I think out of all those, Knight Rider was my favorite because the car freaking talks, man.
I know Knight Rider was one of my favorite next to Airwolf.
Yeah, because the car talks. Like,
Yeah.
who wouldn't love that? It was a
everybody
Firebird,
wanted it.
right? I can't remember
Well,
the car.
And the funny thing is, when you're a kid, it was serious. Now I've watched
Oh,
it,
yeah.
rewatched it again. I'm like, this is
It's
not
not
serious
stupid.
at all.
Yeah, it's not serious at
Now
all. It's-
Airwolf was always serious, and it's still serious, even though the footage is not so great. Because just like, oh, we're
Yeah.
gonna fight this MiG something, you're watching it going, that's not a MiG. It's like, oh, he shot a missile out. And it's like, that's a flare. That's not a
That's
missile.
funny. Yeah, see, it just sucks. So I'm very grateful on the stuff that we get now, even though that might be a little bit too much, but like at least a lot of stuff is very accessible,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right. Because I mean, I got all the DVDs to Airwolf.
Yeah, the DVDs are
And I
like
have the first season of Knight Rider, so
before it's like, hey, did you watch the episode? Like, no, well, you just have to
yep,
wait, and
yeah,
then
you'll
you
probably
just
never
have
see
to
it.
wait. You have to always stay by the television when it comes on
Yeah, well, it's
Saturday at
like
3 p.m. But like,
yeah,
because you never
it's
know when they're gonna
it's
rerun
like
it again.
movies. The same thing with movies. If you didn't see it at the theater, you had to wait till ABC or somebody showed it or
Yep.
NBC, and of course they added extra stuff to it, like Star Trek 2. They had a lot of scenes, and then when I finally got the movie to watch it, those scenes weren't in there because I didn't see Star Trek 2 at the theater. I saw it on TV,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know what happened to these scenes, and I thought, well, maybe I just made it up in my head. And then finally they do the director's cut. It's like I didn't make it up. It's there. But
That's
they used
crazy.
to do that because I remember, I think, yeah, it was Empire Strikes Back. I saw that on TV.
Oh,
And
you know, it's
Star
so
Wars,
funny.
obviously, I saw it on TV because,
And it's so funny, like, the tapes had to wait 2 3 years because they had to do the digitizing and whatever to get it
yeah.
on the format, right? I just bought Deadpool and Wolverine on digital because
Oh, yeah, I know.
it's only been like almost not even 3 months. It's only in the
Yeah, I
theater
know.
for like
Remember
eight
how
weeks
you
or
used to
something.
wait? Yeah, you remember how you used to wait a
A
year or
long
more?
time,
By
man.
the time you almost didn't want to see it.
Oh, by the time like you want to see it, right? But you already forgotten most about it because like,
Huh. Well, we could also put it at the time. Remember, a lot of the stuff, let's say you want to see movies, you got HBO.
oh yeah,
And HBO showed a lot, but you had to go watch it on the time that they put it on,
yeah,
or
yeah.
you didn't
It's
see it.
7 p.m. tonight,
And if you
folks.
got there
Whatever.
late,
Yeah.
you missed part of the movie, and you're like, I don't really want to watch it if I didn't see the beginning.
Yep.
So,
I do. Like that's why TV guide or like the guide is like you have to watch for it. Me and my sister
yeah.
did that. We're like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, they go and show at 7 p.m. Like, what's that
Yeah.
Bridget Fonda movie? Point of No Return. We wanted to see it, so we have to like, oh, Saturday, 7 p.m. We have to be like right there,
Yep. You
boom,
got to be
ready to
there.
go.
Yeah. Now you could be
Oh
wherever you
man,
want and see it later.
yeah, you could be wherever
But
you
that
want.
also, but I think that has had an effect on me. Was not more because I don't watch that many movies anymore. I don't watch a lot of movies, miss a lot of movies because I don't have to be there to see it. So it's basically I'll
Yeah.
get to it sometime. So there's a lot of movies on my I'll get to list. It's
Oh,
just getting
I
bigger and
see. Yeah.
bigger. That's the sad thing. It's getting
Yeah.
bigger and bigger.
The only reason why we watched Deadpool and Wolverine because I don't want to see the spoilers online. Like my
Yeah.
wife didn't want to see the spoilers online either. That's why like when you and I came to see it, we saw it again the next day because like no, I don't. She was like, I don't want to wait till next week. But that means
Yeah.
like a whole week. All this thing's gonna come out
Because you
because the
know
movie
that's
just
one of
come
the
out.
movies that everybody's going to just talk about everywhere you go.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly one of those. Yep. Because everybody's waiting for the return of Deadpool, and then you guys to see Hugh Jackman again
Wolverine,
as
yeah.
Wolverine.
I mean,
Like,
like
dude.
the only reason I went to saw it is because Wolverine's in it.
Yep.
Let's go see it.
Exactly.
And I thought, it's a buddy movie. We're buddies. We should go see it.
Oh, I won't say they're buddies, but okay.
They were
Which,
pretty much buddies. I mean, if you're gonna fight in a little tiny car with each other, you're buddies.
whoa. I watched it again last night because we bought it.
You bought it. And now,
Yeah.
now, when's it coming out? Isn't it already
No, it's
out?
all out on digital. But
Okay,
the
that's what I thought.
physical, I bought the steelbook too, but that doesn't come out
Oh,
until the
okay.
22nd,
Oh,
which is
okay.
weird. Like the digital comes out first, then the hard. But it makes sense
Yeah,
because
well, plus you gotta
you gotta produce,
manufacture some stuff.
manufacture
You
all
gotta
that stuff. Yeah.
manufacture. Well, the other one doesn't cost them anything. So of course they're gonna give you the cheaper one for them to make money on
Oh, it cost me
they
$25,
before
man.
they start losing money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta think it costs them some money too when they
Yeah.
start
When we
making
even
stuff.
released, yep, they had to release that.
Because they're like, we'll make a whole bunch, hopefully we sell them all.
Yeah.
And they will, but
They probably will. The steelbooks are hard to get, so I pre-ordered it. Yeah, cause I still haven't been able to get the steelbook for No Way Home.
wow.
I didn't buy it when it first came out, cause like you said, like why would I want to buy a hard copy? Now I know.
Well, here's the funny thing I noticed that they're saying hard copies are now the thing. Everybody there, I think it was CD sales outdid your online or what do you call it?
Streaming.
Yeah, outdid your streaming CD sales now. Everybody
What
wanting to see,
I
which
think.
makes which makes sense. I get streaming because it's convenient now.
Yep.
But the problem is, let's say I buy a bunch of stuff from a streaming service. Well, if they go out, I don't have it now.
Well, that's
But if
also
but if you have the CDs, you always have it.
to prove your point. Even movies, because like I think they recently released something. Hey, if I bought something digital, shouldn't I be able to watch it all the time? Like even they talk about like the internet, right?
Yeah.
But then they released a statement: if you buy something digital, you technically don't own the movie. You own
Exactly.
the right to like the license right or something. So that's why
Yeah,
a lot of people going back to like, whoa, what the heck? If I buy something, that means I should own it.
yeah. Because I know, like Apple, I bought a lot of stuff on Apple Music back
Yeah.
when it was the deal, and then I've gone back to listen to some stuff. Nope, sorry, we've already changed the album.
Did they change the album? They don't have the license to
I guess they
stream
lost it
those
because I
anymore.
can't
Yeah.
remember which some of the movies that I've got. Yeah, one of them was I bought the soundtrack to J.J. Abrams for Star Trek.
Okay.
They already took one of the songs off of it.
Yeah, because also one
I
of
was like,
so to
what?
your example, one of my favorite soundtrack is Strange Days, right? They
Oh
don't
yeah,
have the whole thing
Strange
on
Days. They cut it in
Spotify.
half. Yeah, they took half of it
In
off, modified it.
Spotify, they don't have the same thing. Like they
Oh,
don't have half
Spotify.
the album. Yeah, I have Spotify.
Okay.
So for me, if
No.
I want to listen to the whole thing, right, I have to have it on the disc.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
I
yeah.
have to have
I
the
had to get the
CD.
disc. Well, I had to
Yeah.
get the CD. I had to buy the CD because I had it and I lost part of it because I had it on the hard drive and the hard drive
Yep.
crashed. So I got, oh, I'll just get on Apple and get it. They only had a few songs of it. I
It
was
doesn't have
upset.
my favorite song from the whole song, like
And the
Caller
same
White,
thing. The same thing went with I tried to buy the motion
Laurie
picture soundtrack
Carson.
off for
Yeah.
Apple. One year I saw it, had everything. I was about to buy it, and I thought, oh, I'll wait. I waited. They didn't have it again. It's like, I'm sorry, you can't have it all.
Yep.
It's like, what?
It just likes. It's so funny because it's not the whole album, right? It's just certain songs that they don't own the license to anymore.
Yeah.
So now
So
you
you
can't
can't,
listen to the whole
yes.
thing. Yep.
Yeah, you can't have it now. Like the group Move from Initial D.
Yep.
You used to be able to get it. No, sorry, you can't. We don't have the license to it.
Yeah. So
I'm
the
like,
streaming thing
man,
is tricky. Oh, let
the
me bring you
streaming
a
thing's
perfect
kind the
example
streaming
today.
thing's kind of a ripoff.
Oh, it is. So let me tell you about perfect example today. I was taking my son to soccer, right? So before I left, Heather was like, "Hey, do you want to watch something before you guys have to leave?" I'm like, actually, I have something in mind. Sorry. So I pull up my Amazon Fire Stick, right? I'm like, oh, I want to watch Slumdog Millionaire. Like 40 minutes before I have to go. I say Slumdog Millionaire. I search for it. They don't have it available. Even though I bought the movie, I can't see it.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
just gave
So I'm
them.
like, so what I was like, maybe I said it wrong
Well,
because my accent, right?
somebody else is a slum dog
But then,
millionaire.
but then it's so funny because it told me my search is Slumdog Millionaire. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
let me look up Danny Boyle. I look up Danny Boyle, go to his profile to see all the movies except for Slumdog Millionaire, and I'm like, what the heck?
Well, you should have just watched Sunshine and been happy about it.
Sunshine was on there, but then I was in the mood for Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah, I'm always in a mood for just like seeing
Yeah.
a bunch of people get killed.
But then, yeah, it's this digital stuff. Like I might have to go back to collect movies. Oh, I did. I bought Deadpool and Wolverine. It's
Yeah,
just not here yet.
yeah. Let's just put it this way: don't be turning your collection in anytime soon. Well,
Yeah,
that's I'm thinking with the deals that all these guys make against each other. Like, oh, I'm going to show it exclusively, so we can't do this now.
yeah,
You know, I mean, they're selling your rights that you supposedly bought because I mean, you didn't really buy anything. You just bought the right to get on their site and look at it if they have it.
yeah. It makes me want to see like,
Yeah,
well,
you just bought access as long as we have it because that's what they really do say. And it says it even on the Apple deal, as long as it's available,
as
you
long as
have
it's
access.
available. Yep.
So I'm
I hate
like, well,
that.
that's a ripoff.
But you know what? I'm going to end it right here because I'm going to end it on a quote from this movie. Think peaceful thoughts. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of Tensai Reviews. If you like what you heard, give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you on the next one.